The coolest part about what we do is some of the awesome four-wheel drives that we get to see on a daily basis. This Japanese fire truck is coming in the shop for some new gears, and we're gonna show you the whole thing. The vehicle behind me is a 1994 Toyota Hiace. You can see it, it's right here. The cool thing about this thing, it was imported from Japan and it was used there as a fire truck. See, this probably says fire truck, right? This is an awesome truck, but the issue with it that the current owner has is that it's got 513 gears installed. That means this thing can barely go over 45 miles an hour before the engine just runs out of RPM. The goal for this project is to install some street gears, probably some 410s. That's gonna make this thing roll down the street with ease. I wanted to walk you around this thing because these things are not available in the United States. And because it's 25 years old, you can import stuff like this from all over the world and get a really, really gnarly four-wheel drive crew cab truck. So here it is. I wanted to show you the inside, right? It is totally right-hand drive. And how weird that is. It is totally odd to shift this thing with your left hand because the shift pattern is still like a normal one. So first gear is away from you. Another unique thing about this thing, it only has 9,000 miles on the kilometer. I mean, 9,000 kilometers on the odometer. So the thing is like new, even though it's a 1994. The guy's got some cool Toyo tires on it that he's installed and really enjoys taking this thing out in the woods. He mentioned some stuff out in George Washington National Forest and all over the place. So he's really pumped, and so are we. So today's Wednesday, but we are on day 2 of our install. We had a little bit of a snafu yesterday with some bearing part numbers, and I'll walk you through exactly what happened with that. I want to show you kind of where we are because at this point in the game, we've got everything disassembled and we're just starting to go back together with the new gears, ring and pinion, in the differentials. As you can see right now, there is nothing inside there. And Herm, behind me, is working on the setup for the front differential. Everything's going pretty well there. If you can see, the rear differential is empty, and I think the third member is actually all gutted, and right here. So we're gonna be installing the new gears and the carrier right in there, and then reinstalling it back into the rear differential. I wanted to show you a little bit about the little snafu that we ran into because it set us a day behind on this project. And it has everything to do with the bearings. So because this truck is pretty rare and only imported into the United States, it took us a lot of research to figure out what axles were in this thing. There's a door tag inside that shows kind of what this thing is made of. And from that door tag, we were able to see that it has the 8-inch in the back and the 7.5-inch in the front. So we took a chance and ordered install kits for the 7.5 IFS and the rear 8-inch. But what we didn't realize is there are actually 2 different master installation kits. Over here, I've got the 7.5-inch master install kits together. And you can see there's a V6 version and a 4-cylinder version. The V6 comes with bigger bearings, 50 millimeter versus 45 millimeter. So that kind of set us up, but a big shout out to Nitro because they were able to get us back on track with the right bearing kits and overnighted them to us so that it didn't throw our whole week behind schedule. So Herm's gonna be wrapping up the install of the front. Of course, once he gets the gears set up perfectly, which I think he's right at about now, I just saw him putting the yoke on, he's gonna install that differential back into the front and then continue on with the rear differential. The tear out was pretty straightforward. One thing that we had to do in the front was take out a bunch of skid plates as well as the steering rack to get that out of the way because there's a lot of pieces in there. So far, so good. I can't wait till this thing is actually rolling down the road. So we just got the re-gear all done and I wanted to take you up the road. This is the first time I've actually driven this truck. Of course, our techs have done the whole road test, but man, this thing feels totally weird to be shifting here and driving on the wrong side. If I didn't say it before, this thing is diesel. And although it's no real powerhouse, it seems to run up the road pretty good. And I'm thinking those 410 gears really helped out. I love working on projects like this because it's not every day that you get to work on and see something like this. The one snag that we did have in putting the rear differential together is the case, the third member, if you will. I gotta look at the shifter to make sure I'm putting in the right gear. That third member, we actually had to overnight one from East Coast Gear Supply. They have a different carrier, if you will, for Toyota vehicles that came with a 4.88 ratio and numerically higher. So this truck, of course, had 5.13 ratio. We definitely needed to get that carrier, and the guys at East Coast Gear Supply were a total help in making sure we got this thing all done. We're cruising like right now at 60 kilometers an hour, tacking roughly 2,000 RPMs. And this is great. This is exactly what this guy's wanted. And I'm glad we were able to meet his needs. If you like this video, let us know what you think in the comment section. Let us know your quirkiest dream four-wheel drive vehicle in the comment section. We love hearing about that stuff. Also, Instagram and Facebook, follow up with us there. We are all the time putting out cool content. Thanks for watching this video. See you on the next one.